Well, good Monday morning, and thank you guys for sticking around for Arnie's Fantasy World of Sports. Lenny, great show. I love the stories. It was great talking to you on the phone earlier this morning. And now it's the pleasure of mine to be able to talk to you guys listening to podcasts across the globe and those guys in the chat room. Good to see you this morning. And wow, we're full this morning, right? We've got amazing Met fan. Maganini, Chris Gallo, DeMazins, DK, Luce, J. Bass, Lenny, Mark Youngblood, Phil Chaplin, Primetime, Taco, White Sock Al, Guest Belva, Guest Ishmael, Guest Rosita. It's great to see all you guys in the chat room. So here's what we're going to do. You know the routine. We're going to talk a little bit. Then we're going to take a few phone calls if you'd like to call in. Because what we're going to talk about this morning, I'm doing something to keep baseball alive, right? I'm having drafts every Sunday. And so, yes, last night when I finished working, I had a 10-team head-to-head points league draft. And every time I do a draft, I like to make the format different. Next Sunday night, it's an auction. And I don't think we're full yet. It's a 10-team auction. If you're interested in that, let me know. But we're going to talk about the head-to-head 10-team points league draft this morning. And I'm going to put my number in the chat room. And it's 919-922-9093. And feel free to call if you'd like to call in. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about. We can talk about the draft. And so here we go. Let's look at this draft from last night. Good morning, Andrea. It's good to see you this morning in the chat room. Good morning, Jay Bass. Good morning, DeMazins. And let's look at this draft last night. So 10 teams, and some of the players you're familiar with, and some of the players you are not. And so the ones that you may not be familiar with, I can just tell you they are true baseball fans, fantasy players from not just their first, not their first rodeo for sure, and then a couple of guys other than myself that you are familiar with. And that would be Phil Chaplin and Kevin Hastings. They joined in the draft, and so the draft order had, let's see if I'm right here, had Kevin Hastings at number 2, I was at number 5, and Chappie was at number 10. We have others. My brother Kevin was in it. Kurt Hinton was in it. Just Nick Gambella was in it. Mario Ray was in it. We have a bunch of people in this draft. Let's don't forget the Youngbloods, Mark and Jack, who were both in the draft. And Mark is in the chat room this morning. So I want to go through each round, if you will, and let's sort of break it down as to, was that a good pick? Was it too early? Was it too late? That kind of analysis, okay? So round one, led off, and I know why this guy picked this player. Hey, it could work. I think it's the reach. But the first pick in the draft, Linwood Price, he picked Trey Turner. Now, you got to know the history of the player, the picker. He was or is a big North Carolina State fan and a huge Washington Nationals fan. If you know Trey Turner, you know he went to North Carolina State and played baseball. And, of course, you know now he is the World Series champion shortstop for the Washington Nationals. So Linwood takes Trey Turner number 1. I think it's early. But what if Turner comes up with his final 50 stolen base, 25-30 home run year? Then there you go. Number 2 in the draft, Jacob deGrom. Now, that was picked by Kevin Hastings. And my question with picking a starting pitcher in a draft now is this. We know that the season is going to be altered, correct? Now, we don't know, number 1, when it's going to start. We don't, number 2, know when it's going to finish. We don't know, number 3, how they're going to do the scheduling. But we got to figure this, don't we? Don't we figure that at least the beginning of the year, you're not going to have starting pitchers go the distance? Lenny said it this morning. I totally agree. If you're in a quality starts league, I feel like quality starts will be a wasted category in 2020. Therefore, Jacob deGrom, chat room, picked at number 2 in this draft. Do you think that was a on-time pick? Couldn't be too late. Was it too early? He was followed by the 3rd pick in the draft, Mike Trout. The 4th pick, Garrett Cole. I took Christian Yelich at 5. Mookie Betts goes at 6. Acuna Jr. at 7. Soto at 8. Bellinger at 9. And Chappie comes in at 10 with Frankie Lindor. Now, Kevin Jones picks at 9 and he gets Cody Bellinger. Have you guys seen Cody Bellinger go that low in any draft this year? Bellinger at 9, I think, was the value of the first round, if Trout wasn't at 3. I got Yelich at 5. I don't think I've seen Trout as low as 3, Yelich as low as 5, Bellinger as low as 9. Now, is there a player in that round that could exceed his draft position? Well, Trout could be number 1 in fantasy. Yelich could be number 1 in fantasy. Bellinger could be number 1 in fantasy. I'll tell you another player that's sneaky to me. Juan Soto. Soto drafted in the 8th spot last night. He's 21 years old, and if you looked at his underlying numbers, then you know that Juan Soto is a true talent. So maybe that is the value. I'm not sure. But I like Trout, Yelich, Soto, and Bellinger all going where they went for the teams who got them. Now, DK Luce says Bellinger should go at 4. Well, he went at 9. Look at round 2. Round 2 Chappie led off picking Rafael Devers, followed by Nolan Arenado, Trevor Story, Alex Bregman, Walker Buehler. JD Martinez was my pick in the 2nd round. I picked him 6th in the 2nd round, followed by Scherzer, Rendon, Flaherty, and Strasburg. So, in the first 2 rounds, we see 6 starting pitchers go off the board. Strasburg, Flaherty, Scherzer, Walker Buehler, all in the 2nd round. DeGrom went at the overall pick number 2, and Cole at overall pick number 4. So, do you think, again, the analysis works on 2nd round pitchers as well as the 1st round? My analysis being this: I just don't see in 2020 starting pitchers getting the value that they would have gotten had this been a full season. Now, Mark Youngblood says absolutely right. And what if we go to 7 innings? If we go to 7-inning games, does that change your opinion? Or do you think a starting pitcher might go 4, come out, and a bullpen game the other 3? It's really an interesting discussion, and it's a roll of the dice when you're taking a pitcher, in my opinion, in the first 2 rounds this year. This is a 10-team league, and I'm looking at the players who drafted, like Toledo Mud Hens. That's the name of the team. They pick Acuna, and then in the 2nd round, and got Acuna at pick 7. I failed to mention, I haven't seen Acuna go at number 7 either. Interesting first round, huh? And then after picking Acuna, Toledo picks Alex Bregman as the 4th overall pick in the 2nd round. I look at Phil Chaplin, who picked Frankie Lindor as the 10th pick in the 1st round and turns around and picks Devers, the 1st pick in the 2nd round. No pitching there, guys. No pitching. I picked Yelich at 5 in the 1st round. I picked JD Martinez at 6 in the 2nd round. No pitching. Jack Youngblood, surprised to get Acuna at 7. I was surprised to get Yelich at 5. That's the thing about having your own draft board. Players did not fall off in round 1 in any type of systematic order that I predicted. And Chaplin thought he might get Bellinger. My brother Kevin got Bellinger. And he was like, man, I can't believe I'm getting Cody Bellinger. Wow. What a pick. Good morning, chat room. Once again, let's look at it. DeMazins, DK Lewis, Jack Youngblood, Jay Bass, John Garfalo, Lenny, Mark Youngblood, Phil Chaplin, Taco. Putting on the Ritz. Guest Belva, guest Lou, guest Rosita. It's good to have all of you guys in. And this is a points league, remember. This is a points league. So we go to round 3. And here's how it goes. Gleyber Torres. Clayton Kershaw, picked by Phil Chaplin. Not by Phil Chaplin, excuse me. Kevin Hastings. I wrote it down wrong, Chappie. Pardon me. Bryce Harper. Pete Alonso. I picked my first pitcher here. I picked Clevenger for Cleveland. Followed by Bieber, Verlander, Baez, Freeman, and Starling Marte. Now, I would tender to you, after round 3, those that would be called an ace have been picked. Remember, we had 6 pitchers picked in rounds 1 and 2. In round 3, we see 4 more go off. 10 pitchers going through the first 3 rounds. Round 4, Chappie leads off. I love this player. Thought about getting him at 5 in the 3rd round, but I went with a pitcher. He got Austin Meadows, followed by Patrick Corbin, Charlie Blackmon, Jose Ramirez, Jose Altuve, and I make my 6th pick in the 4th round, and I pick up Yordan Alvarez. This is a league also with 2 utility slots, only 4 outfielders. So there's an extra utility slot in a points league, and you get a full season, whatever it is, of Yordan Alvarez. I know he was having knee problems, but look, face it, guys, the Astros are going to DH this kid. They talk about now he might play outfield. Do you really believe that? I think Yordan Alvarez could well be the American League most valuable player this year. After Alvarez, Manny Machado, Xander Bogaerts, Ketel Marte, then Anthony Rizzo. I want to look at round 4, similar to what I did with round 1. Austin Meadows, that would be the 31st pick in the draft. And I think that's a pretty good spot, around number 30 for Austin Meadows. Patrick Corbin, 32. Again, my concern being Corbin, not really an ace, going at 32. I'm a little concerned about that one. Charlie Blackmon at 33. And Lenny said something in his show this morning. He talked about devaluing Rocky hitters. You know, Blackmon does not steal the bases anymore that he once did. So I ask you, in the 4th round, and let's look at other outfielders that or bats that were chosen. Would you rather have Blackmon or Yordan Alvarez or Ketel Marte? Was Blackmon picked just a little bit early? That's my question. Followed by Jose Ramirez, followed by Jose Altuve, and I've already told you, Alvarez, I picked at 6 in the round. Then Manny Machado picked at 37 overall. Now, I know he's got shortstop, third base eligibility, but let's face it, Manny's year last year was an off year. I don't know if that's new ballpark factors. I don't know if that's new time zone factors. I don't know if that's this, I got happy because I got a big contract factor. But Machado numbers compared to Xander Bogaerts' numbers, who was picked right after him, give me a Xander Bogaerts over Manny Machado any day of the week. So I think Machado was picked early. And Ketel Marte picked by Kevin Hastings at the 9th pick in the 4th round, followed by Anthony Rizzo. Now, first base, to me, is a scarce position this year. It really is. Now, as I'm looking at it, there were no first basemen picked in the 1st round. In round 2, I don't see any first baseman selected.